President Rast, the Reverend Dean M. Bell is not able to be with us today due to a recent injury and his declining health. He is represented today by his daughter, Dr. Naomi Snyder, who is seated up here, who will be here in place of her father. She is accompanied by her husband, Todd, and their two sons, Ethan and Cabot, two of Pastor Bell's beloved grandchildren. A year after his birth in 1945, Dean Bell was adopted by a family in Ada, Minnesota, where he was raised in the Lutheran Church and graduated from high school in 1963. He continued his education at Moorhead State University in Moorhead, Minnesota, majoring in political science and minoring in history, graduating with a teaching degree. He then taught high school social studies for 4 years. He had a long-standing interest in ministry, so he attended Concordia University, Wisconsin in 1978 and received lay ministry certification in 1980. He also took some classes at Dr. Martin Luther College in New Ulm, Minnesota. After his certification, he served as a lay minister in Georgetown, McIntosh, and Fosston, Minnesota. He went through the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod colloquy process in 1996 and was ordained into the holy ministry of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Reverend Bell continued to serve the congregations in McIntosh and Fosston until Fosston closed. He also served congregations in Mahomen and rural Ada, Minnesota, until his retirement in 2017. During these years, he was very active in attending our seminary's annual symposia and also our regional continuing education classes. Reverend Bell has a long-standing and strong commitment to serve the wider church beyond his congregations in the northern Minnesota district. He was trained as a LCMS reconciler and served in that capacity 16 years. He served on the Board of Regents of Concordia University, Wisconsin for 6 years. He served on the Board of Directors of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod for 2 years. He served the Northern Minnesota District of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod as a circuit visitor for 4 years and as a member of their Board of Directors for 7 years. He also served on the Confessional Lutheran Educational Fund Board of Directors for 7 years and on the Lutheran Heritage Foundation Board of Directors for 7 years. In 2013, he was elected by the Synod to serve as a member of the Board of Regents of this seminary, a position he has faithfully served in to the present day. Even after medical challenges arose in January and he was in a very weak state, Reverend Bell traveled to Fort Wayne to fulfill his duties. Our faculty witnessed his commitment to Christ, and the seminary's mission was visible to all, as he even used a wheelchair to be able to be at our meeting. The Reverend Dr. Ron Garwood, chairman of our Board of Regents, who is here today, shared these words with me about Reverend Bell. Reverend Dean Bell is a valuable member of the Concordia Theological Seminary's Board of Regents. He is faithful in his attendance, offers thoughtful advice and guidance for the board. He is very focused on his service, yet brings a great sense of humor to our meetings and honors and respects all the board members. And he is greatly respected by all the board members and by the Concordia Theological Seminary community in general. He loves Christ, he loves his church, he loves our seminary, and he reflects well the Scripture's definition of a good and faithful servant. Reverend Bell's life has been richly blessed for the past 48 years through his marriage to Mary Ann Bell. Their marriage was blessed with 5 children and 11 grandchildren, some of whom are present with us today. President Rast, for his unswerving commitment to the Holy Scriptures as well as the Lutheran confessions as a correct and faithful exposition of the Scriptures throughout his life, and for his faithful service and public witness to Christ as a lay minister and then an ordained pastor, for his long-standing support of this seminary, including his exemplary service on our Board of Regents, the faculty of Concordia Theological Seminary, with the concurrence of the Board of Regents, his colleagues, recommends that the Reverend Dean M. Bell receive the degree of Doctor of Divinity, Honoris Causa.
As President of Concordia Theological Seminary, and upon the recommendation of the faculty and the Board of Regents, it is my joyful privilege to confer the degree of Doctor of Divinity, Honoris Causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, upon the Reverend Dean M. Bell.